Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Saisha's Tech. If you are new to my channel, please like, share, comment and subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for the latest updates. This is Amogh Kaliwal. In the last video, we measured the variation in the data using the concepts of range, variance and standard deviation. In today's video, we will compare and analyze two data sets which are having different standard deviation and mean using the concepts of coefficient of variation and standard score, that is Z-score. Now let us start with coefficient of variation. Now let us understand the definition and the formula utilized to identify the coefficient of variation. By definition, coefficient of variation is the statistical measure of the dispersion of the data points in the data series around the mean. The formula which is utilized to represent coefficient of variance is sigma divided by mu. Here, sigma represents the standard deviation of the population and mu represents the mean of the population. Similarly, S represents the standard deviation of the sample and X bar represents mean of the sample. Now let us understand few of the examples to calculate the coefficient of variation and compare the results between the two. Let us understand the coefficient of variation with two examples. In example 1, we are comparing the multiple choice results of section A and section B students. And in example 2, Amar wants to invest either in stocks or bonds with minimal risk to return ratio. In example 1, we are multiplying the ratio of standard deviation to mean with 100 to convert the coefficient of variation into percentage. Similarly, in investments, the formula is modified to volatile to return ratio. Here, volatile represents the standard deviation, return represents the mean of the data, which is converted into percentage by a multiplying factor of 100. In section A, the test results of the multiple choice question had a standard deviation of 10.2 with a mean of 59.9. And similarly, section B, 12.7 and 44.8 standard deviation and mean. If we do not calculate the coefficient of variation and observe the output of standard deviation and the mean for both the section, we can see that section A has a maximum spread of data. Whereas when you calculate the percentage of variation for both the sections, we can observe 17.03 is the coefficient of variation for section A and 28.35 is the coefficient of variation for section B. This suggests that the data spread in section B is higher than that of section A. Similarly, in second example, Amar wants to decide the risk to return ratio minimal. Here he is utilizing a portfolio of stocks and bonds where the volatility of the stocks is 10 and bonds is 7. The return for the stocks is 14 and the return for bonds is 13. When we calculate the coefficient of variation, for stocks is 71.14 and for bonds is 53.8. This suggests that 53.8, the minimal coefficient of variation, that is 53.8, helps Amar to decide that it is a lowest risk to return ratio. Hence, he will go ahead with investment in bonds as compared to stocks. This is how coefficient of variation helps to compare two data sets and analyze. Now, let us understand the statistical concepts of standard score, that is Z-score. Let us understand the standard score definition and formula utilized to calculate standard score, that is Z-score. Standard score provides us the information that how many standard deviation is a number above or below a mean. Now, the formula to calculate the standard score, that is Z-score, is x minus mu by sigma. Here x represents the number mu represents the mean of the population and sigma represents standard deviation of the population. Similarly, x represents the number, x bar and s represents the mean and the standard deviation of the sample. Z-score provides us the standard deviation from the mean. Here, one standard deviation means it has 68.3% of the data in one standard deviation, 95.5% of the data is in two standard deviation, and 99.7% of the data in three standard deviation. Let us understand these concepts using two examples. Now, if there is a survey for quality check and you pick few of the samples from the products, these samples should lie in one standard deviation, which represents that the quality of the products are good. Similarly, if you consider score of a student in a class, his score should be as far as possible from the mean. That is, it should be between 2 standard deviation or 3 standard deviation. This helps us that the student has outperformed as compared to the classmates. This is how the z-score helps us to analyze the data. Now let us understand with a practical example. Let us understand the z-score using an example. Amar and Balu are brothers who are in 8th standard and 5th standard. As we have considered all the people in the class, we are utilizing population z-score, that is x minus mu by sigma. The scores of Amar, who is studying in 8th standard, is 87. Similarly, Balu is 82, who is studying in 5th standard. The mean of the scores of 8th standard is 80 and the standard deviation is 5. Similarly, the mean of the 5th standard students are 73 and the standard deviation is 6. Now we want to know the elder brother or the younger brother has performed well in the class. To identify this, we calculate the z-score. With the formula, the z-score for Amar is 1.4 standard deviation and for Balu is 1.5 standard deviation. As Balu is far away from the mean, that is 1.5 compared to Amar, hence Balu, who is the younger brother, is performing well in the class. This is how we can compare two data sets of different standard deviation and mean and conclude the analysis. These are some of the statistical concepts of coefficient of variation and standard score. If you like my video, please like, share, comment and subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you.